going to do just kind of off the cuff relationship between INFJ and ISTJ. So I have a sister who is ISTJ, who I believe is an ISTJ. And funny thing is she's actually not interested in this personality stuff like I am. Like, not at all. She doesn't even know her MBTI type. She said she had done something long ago concerning MBTI and she just has totally forgotten about it, doesn't care for it. Yeah. But for me, I'm just like, really? Well, I'm obsessed and blah, blah, blah. So that's already a difference just off the cuff. Anyhow, it makes sense because ISTJs have, I don't know if this illustration is confusing. I think might have made it a little confusing. So hopefully not. So for INFJs here at the bottom, we have an I first. You can see, so towards the inner circle, that's the arrow for the INFJ. And where and the order of their functions, so NIFE, TI, SE, NE, FI, TE, SI. And so for the ISTJ, it's the opposite. It's completely backwards. So for them, their arrow is in the outside of the inner arrow. So for the ISTJ, it'd be SI first, TE, FI, NE, SE, TI, FE, NI. And so, as you may very well know, that our very last functions are the ones that we have can potentially have the most trouble with and kind of lack an understanding on and kind of wrestle with, right? And so ISTJs, they are FE blind. For them, they may not want to hop on the chance of socializing like INFJs would, right? And so, and a lot of people who have FE as their blind spot, they may not be interested in this personality stuff. Well, I should say INTJs are more likely to, perhaps, because they have that NI as their first function. And so they're really going to want to have kind of a large scale thinking mindset and impact or desire, to having the NI as their very first function. They want to kind of have things figured out in a big picture, oriented way, as does the INFJ. And so intuitives, NI, DOMs, we're probably more likely, I would say, to get more involved in this personality stuff and try to figure people out and see, how people function and stuff like that. So for sensors, they may not be quite as interested, just because it's a little bit more nuanced. And for the ISTJ being FE blind, because of that, it's not going to be their main priority. Their main priorities would be TE related. It would be, right? And their FI is quite important too. Well, their first four functions, obviously. But overall, yes, they are going to be more TE oriented for sure, which means they're going to be more logical, practical minded, and their mindset is, and they're going to really orient themselves according to TE, according to, those actionable, goal-oriented steps in their lives. And so for my sister, who's an ISTJ, she's very focused at all times, laser focused. I would say even on being productive at work and at home, being the best homemaker she can be for her and her husband, and keeping up with household chores and yard work, dinners, you name it. So very on top of things. For the INFJ, we might look at those more practical things and we're just like, well, that doesn't matter nearly as much as X, Y, and Z. We might think like some of those things just don't even matter at all, or we will have no interest in, let's say doing handyman work around the house. My ISTJ sister, I would really describe her as a Jane of all trades. We've heard of Jack of all trades. Well, she's a Jane of all trades. To me, I just look at her and I'm like, wow, you are some kind of superhero. You just do so much. Like she can figure stuff out. When her house needs work done, who's doing it? Nobody but her, most likely. And so she, after buying their house, she did a whole bunch of work. She put a whole bunch of work in, and I just couldn't believe it. She was describing all the things that needed to be done, and I'm just like, are you crazy? Like, woman, how were you able to do this? So for me as an INFJ, that is something I would totally wrestle with. It's just more technical, practical stuff, steps to take. It's more hands-on, and I just don't know how she is. She's incredible. And I think SI has to do with it, though, of just she studies for it. She studies how to work on projects at her house, being instead of a handyman, a handy woman, and doing things herself. And I've heard over and over again that SI is very sharp. It's very quick on picking up details, on storing away, filing away those details, those observations in the here and now. And so she is very good at many things, actually. That's why I call her a Jane of all trades. And for her, time is very important and precious. And if she does give her time, it means quite a lot. And And what I like about ISTJs is that, and having a family member who's an ISTJ, is that, we can kind of relate to each other. There's some different things. So we're both introverts, and we can appreciate our alone time, and we respect that about each other. So my ISTJ sister would be more likely to say, hey, I need some space. I'm taking care of this and that, I got a full plate as it is. And so it's kind of hard to talk on the phone. Like for me, we're actually going through that right now. I'm just like, hey, can we make more time on the phone? Like, how about this? Like, So for ISTJs and INFJ relationship overall, it's best to just kind of have it laid back and just kind of respect each other's time and space. And who knows, it might be vice versa. Maybe it's the INFJ who needs to retreat. And so I've definitely had my times where I needed to retreat. I needed to be a hermit and just not even talk to anyone, including her. If there is any complication, any bumps in the road that come up, I am the one more likely to retreat and just be a hermit, go into hermit mode, so to speak, and just really process on my own, and then come back sometime later. And it could be months later. It kind of depends on what it is, what we're kind of having to process, and things like that, so we can come back newer and better and more refreshed than ever. And for the ISTJ, they would be more likely to say, well, let's face this head on here. Let's actually work through this. Let's talk about it, okay? Now, if the INFJs would be more likely to say, well, let's hang out. Let's just have casual talk, like, let's talk about anything. The ISTJ would be kind of more practical minded, and again, they have TE as one of their top functions, and that's going to be really important.